Greetings, Bill Clinton. I am watching the Ministry of Propaganda. You are like, share and subscribe. You must.
Good evening, folks. I am back from my short break. I have some bad news. After the revelry of the coronation, I sort of misbehaved a little. There was an incident involving too many martinis, some dog biscuits, and I may have gotten too close to and inadvertently entered a Cambodian without asking for permission. Well, let's just say I lost my royal title, and I am now both a disgraced royal and a disgraced president. Take that, Prince Harry. Let's turn to the week's news then. Over in Turkey, President Erdogan failed to win a first-round victory. He faces a runoff on the 28th of May. Can't believe he's still in the running for another 5-year term. Those right-wing supporters of the knocked-out candidate, Sinan Ogan, are now flocking to Erdogan as if we need more reasons for him to win. The election in Turkey was basically a referendum on Erdogan's reign of 2 decades. Surprise, surprise, the economy is in shambles, and people are furious. Can't blame them. And let's not forget the earthquakes that killed over 50,000 people. Naturally, people are questioning whether Erdogan's focus on construction produced unsafe buildings. Don't get me started on his relations with Putin. Over in Ecuador, the president pulled a power move and dissolved the opposition-led Congress. To be honest, that's kind of smart. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Similarly, Cambodia disqualified the main opposition party ahead of the elections. Prime Minister Hun Sen is laying the groundwork for his son to succeed him. Nepotism at its finest, folks. After almost a decade of military rule in Thailand, voters finally had their say. They chose opposition parties that promised to limit the power of the military and monarchy. Good for them, but will the junta go down without a fight? Doubt it. Moving on in Southeast Asia, a cyclone hits Myanmar and Bangladesh, leaving hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees homeless. But let's be honest, they are Muslims and not Europeans. So, to top it all off, we'll get ready for record high temperatures in the next 5 years. Thanks to human-caused warming and El Nino, we're in for the warmest period ever recorded. Can't wait. In Africa, a Kenyan pastor lured his followers with salvation through starvation. 179 bodies have been dug up from his property. What a mess. And in Sudan, the U.S.-led peace negotiations are failing miserably. Experts are warning that Sudan is on the verge of descending into chaos. Turning to Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Germany's leaders for their so-called massive aid package during his visit to Berlin, as if that will solve anything. And let's not forget his surprise appearance at the G7 meeting. More of this nonsense to come in a moment. Leaders from 6 African countries are planning to visit Moscow and Kiev to talk about ending the war. Good luck with that. And in the purest display of virtue signaling scarecrow leadership, the UK's Downing Street has declared that they will start training Ukrainian pilots this summer so that they will be ready to fly F-16 jets. Are they joking? The UK doesn't even have F-16 jets. Meanwhile, Ukraine and Russia have agreed to extend an agreement that allows Ukraine to ship grain across the Black Sea. Big whoop! Over in Gaza and Israel, a ceasefire was mostly upheld between Israel and Palestinian fighters. Well, except for a brief exchange of fire. I'm sure peace is just over the horizon. The UN decided to commemorate the mass displacement of Palestinians 75 years ago. Why bother? It's not like it will change anything. On the economic front, despite all the billions Western countries have invested, China is light years ahead in making batteries for electric cars. The rest of the world might as well give up now. China controls 41% of the world's cobalt, and guess where everything gets shipped? You guessed it, China. They have the advantage of cheap land and energy and can refine minerals more efficiently. Now let's talk about American diplomacy, or lack thereof. President Biden canceled his trip to Papua New Guinea and Australia. The annual domestic debt default circus takes precedence, apparently. The G7 summit is underway at the moment. The meeting is aiming to stabilize the global economic situation, to calm tensions, to promote peace, the global order, perhaps negotiation. Where is it being hosted? Hiroshima. Yeah, that Hiroshima. The one that is synonymous with resolving things by blowing them up. So far, the G7 have jointly condemned China's militarization of the South China Sea. If you recall my news report from a few days ago, this G7 includes the U.S., who just last week got given the chance to open 4 brand new military bases in the Philippines. Talk about militarization. I personally am looking forward to the G7's upcoming conferences. In June, we have the Human Rights Conference being hosted in Guantanamo Bay. Then later on in July, we have the big conference, the Conference on Sovereignty and Territorial Integrity, being hosted in multiple locations: Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Yemen, with the main stage broadcasting live from a U.S. oil platform in eastern Syria. Then, to wrap it up in December, they'll be having the Conference on Press Freedom, broadcasting live from Julian Assange's prison cell. Speaking of freedom, back in the land of the free, Montana's governor signed a bill banning TikTok in the entire state because we would rather have it that American children be filled with bullets than TikTok propaganda. Well, that's it from me, folks. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. This is the Ministry of Propaganda, helping you think.